Okay, guys, this is a Gump report. This will be released in a few days. Unless new information comes in that I need to redo it, it'll be up before the end of the week. Now, I'm going to tell you what I've learned, and I want to make it clear, I've seen just Alex's stream. I didn't see all of it because at this point, I believe he's still talking right now. I had to stop because it's past 7 now. I tried to make this video earlier, but I started coughing. My allergies are still messing with me. This is the kicker. I'm better. I don't have strep throat anymore. I don't. But I still have allergy problems, which you can still get with strep throat, which sucks. I went out into the street the last couple of times and I forgot to take my medicine, and the trees are basically falling right now. Oh, why me? Anyway, what we get here, I'm going to explain it and my thoughts. I'll tell you what just Alex said. Basically, because I'm not saying it word for word, and I don't have his flair, his attitude. Everybody has a certain flair of attitude when they do their videos, when they do their live streams. Some people like them, some people hate them. Some people love just Alex, some people hate him. Like me, the same thing. Like JD, the same thing. You're just going to have to decide which one you like or not. Now, I want to say this. I do know that when it comes to, what is Anal or Anon? I believe his name Anal or Anon Emmanuel currently is the CEO of not only Endeavor, he's also the CEO of TKO Group Holdings. Now, this is what you might not know. When it comes to Vince McMahon, he's the senior chairman, but not just of WWE. He's also the senior chairman of TKO Group Holdings. Now, also, he owns 16% of stock in the holdings. TKO Group Holdings, he owns 16%. He owns 49% in WWE. So he has two sets of stocks. From the newly merged company, he owns 16% of that. But he also owns 49% of his original company. So no one says, oh, he has no more shares in his company. Yes, he does. He's still the premier shareholder of his own company, even if he sold it. He owns 49%. He owns it. So that's what is already been known. This is what's going to come up now. We now know the new board of directors is mostly people from Endeavor. Just Alex was trying to figure out who the hell are these people. They're all from Endeavor. I already know that. It's obvious. Yes, he probably figured out himself, but why are they there? What type of qualification? They don't need any. That's one thing he seems like he doesn't get. They don't need any. They don't need any qualifications. Emmanuel put them there. He chose them from his own board of directors or his own shareholders. He chose them. And Vince had no problem to get rid of Triple H because he was on the board of directors as well. As you know, he's no longer there. Yes, he's getting paid $5 million because of the merger. He's getting paid $5 million, along with Nick Khan, who still holds his original position. But this is what I believe Just Alex is not understanding. Just Alex in his stream tried to break down what is going on here. He tried to break down about what's going on, about the ones who are in position and who is in charge. It is obvious Emmanuel is in charge, but he believes, and this is his own feelings. Now, I am not paraphrasing him. You can go watch his stream or rewatch the stream because by now it's still going on and this will probably be released tomorrow and it'll be over. But for him, because Emmanuel is in charge, he believed, and he said it on his own stream, that Vince can't fire anybody, which he can. He's not elaborating on what he just said. He just said it because he wanted people to understand that Vince has no power. Vince has power as not senior vice president, but executive chairman. Unlike someone else, like the CEO, the president, Nick Khan, he also has power to still fire people. What he's not getting and relayed to his own people he's watching on his own stream, his own subscribers, is that Vince, when it comes to Nick Khan, they still have power to fire people unless it's something highly important. Now, you could say, well, he's saying the same thing. No, he's not. He's making it very clear he can't fire anybody. Yes, he can. Yes, Emmanuel can override any type of firing, but do you actually believe a man who's running Endeavor, and yes, he's a part of the board of directors, is he going to be interested in someone who is a pro wrestler, unless it's bringing in a huge amount of press, he's not going to care. Generally speaking, Vince is going to have whatever power to fire that he had before. Nothing's changing. Vince can still fire anybody unless it's something important for the company. Other than that, he's got 99% of whatever he wants. That one time, that 1% is when Emmanuel can override him. So he can't say he can never fire anybody when he can't. Just like Nick Khan could still fire somebody. Now, when it comes to creative, a lot of people said things are interesting. In my own comments, things are interesting now. Vince is no longer in control. Vince is still in control. He is the executive chairman who still can tell the chief creative officer anything he needs. And if you think that Emmanuel is going to tell Vince what to do, no. 99% of the time, it will still be on Vince to make the final decision on behalf of Endeavor and Emmanuel. What people don't want to hear this. This is not what just Alex is saying. Emmanuel is not going to be really 100% committed to telling Vince, I want the show to end up like this. He's gone and has said on any interview with Vince that I'm going to let Vince do what he needs to do. He knows what he's doing. So 99% of the time, Vince will do whatever he wants. If he's got to fire 10 people, he's going to fire 10 people. If he's going to fire 100 people, and it's legitimate reason, he's going to fire him. So he cannot say that. When it comes to creative, Vince is already telling Triple H what to do. Emmanuel is not going to tell Vince how to create. Unless it's something that could be a crossover with UFC, it doesn't matter to him. He's going to let Vince do what he needs to do. And Triple H, as a stooge, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, he's a stooge now. He must obey, even if he doesn't agree. He can't do anything about it. Now, what happens when it comes to the future of WWE under the umbrella of TKO Group Holdings? When it comes to just Alex, he was being very optimistic. He did say, with an asterisk, he was what they say straddling the fence, pretty much being on the fence, middle of the fence. He doesn't want to go over or not. He said, when it comes out in the very beginning, this show is not going to be great, but in the long run, the company will be great. It's going to be fine. It will be gone better because eventually Vince will not have total control because Emmanuel has it, and eventually Vince is not going to stay there forever, and he's going to be gone. I don't agree with that. Not because I'm not saying that he's wrong. He just doesn't think about the future, and he doesn't think about the past. What happened a long time ago, as they say, if you're not careful, history can repeat itself. What happened to WCW? Now, mind you, I want to make this clear. It's not the same situation. WCW was destroyed because of WWF. Because Vince decided to go head-to-head with all the other promotions in the country. This isn't happening here. WWE was already on top before making the merger. But back then with WCW, that did not happen. The wrestling crash happened due to the fact of what WWE did. They destroyed them. So that was the reason Turner bought it for a cheap price and tried to run it, and then decided to go and do the billionaire challenge and try to go up against Vince McMahon and do the Monday Night War. That's what happened. But as you already know, when that happened, it failed. And it wasn't because WWE or WWF/WWE wasn't just a better product and just ran them out of business. No, it was a business mistake. Remember, one of the major reasons that the major reason WCW crashed wasn't because they didn't have a good product. Most of the time they did. Out of 80% of the time, to 70% of the time, they had the superior product. It was business. Remember, who was running WCW? It was not a wrestling promoter. It was a businessman. Eric Bischoff, he had a major in business. He was the one who was running it. Paul Lee was not a businessman. He was part of wrestling. He grew up in wrestling. So he understood it. But here, Eric Bischoff was not part of wrestling. He was in marketing. He was in business. He ran it like a business. He didn't run it like a wrestling promotion. That was one of the major reasons that it slid down like a bullet, because he cared more about doing business decisions more than he did about wrestling decisions. Don't get it twisted. He learned how to be part of wrestling. Yes, he did. That's the reason why they were so successful. He understood that wrestling, and then he managed to make it what it was. But then you are still talking about a businessman owning a company, WCW, and what happened with AOL and the mess that happened with that. And when they literally went out of business almost, that's what caused WCW to get bought up by WWE. Not because it was a promotion that just didn't work right. It was because Turner and the conglomerate of Turner was garbage. It was a mess. And they just lost a huge value of money with WCW because it was like a hole that they kept shoving money into it. So when it comes down to it, this is what is going to happen. This is what I hope doesn't happen, but could happen. When you see WWE eventually either get rid of Vince because he doesn't want to get into it, or he gets arrested because of the accusations and the subpoena, because he's still got to be dealing with the grand jury. Let's say in the next year or so, Vince is found guilty and is gone. The key of this, which no one is talking about, who will they put in charge of his position? Because it will happen. The executive chairman position will have to be filled by somebody. Who will it be filled by? Business person. Man or woman, doesn't matter. And we know how business has been going lately. Look at Bud Light. Look at Target. Look at most of the business that have to deal with trying to appease a certain criteria. I am telling you right now, if they stick a business person there, a man or a woman, I don't care. If they don't know the wrestling business, they just know business and marketing, you're in trouble. Because it doesn't matter what if Triple H is even still there. If they don't understand how to run a wrestling company on behalf of a huge conglomerate, you will end up with the same thing with Turner. That Turner had made several business botches, including AOL. And when that business had major problems where it was near bankruptcy, that is one of the major slides. The major slide of WCW wasn't because they couldn't produce a great product anymore. It was because they were running out of money. I'm telling you now, if just Alex doesn't see it, I'm telling you right now, that could happen. If they stick someone who doesn't understand the wrestling business as the executive chairman there, you're going to end up with a huge mess on your hands. They have to make sure that person at least understands something about the wrestling business. If they don't, fuck it all. You will not see WWE recover, no matter what anybody says. The product will be trash, and if they don't get, and this is TKO, because it's a brand new company, it could still go under, even with UFC by its side. And counting on how they book UFC and WWE together, because that could go wrong. It would be a mess. But it's just me. I hope you enjoy this. Peace.